Hey guys, the name is Jasper, and welcome back to another reaction video. And I'm happy that you guys are here para dingin nyo ang aking mga sasabihin about sa bagong episode, which is episode 71. So last week on Friday, episode 70 is probably like one of the biggest episodes ng Maria Clara at Ibarra. It also has like the biggest changes, I think, if you compare it to the books. It has significant changes, but all of us are wondering how this change is going to affect the future episodes of Maria Clara Tebara. We'll see. We'll see in the next coming episodes. Pero with such a big episode, there's also a lot of people who left a comment. So I think it can be argued that I had like the biggest views sa Maria Clara at Ibarra in a while. So we got like 2.4 thousand views right here, which means 32 comments, and that's a lot. That's a lot. 32 comments sa isang video, and sa analysis we have 12 comments. So around 40 plus. Okay, babasahin ko lahat ng comments na to. Simulan na natin dahil this is going to be a very huge episode to begin with. So yeah, let's just start from the bottom right here. All right, Love wrote in. Hello, Love. Love seems may mapapagalitan. Sad face. But I hope di ka nabigla sa church scene kasi I knew you may feel familiar. You may feel something familiar like that. Hashtag tumindig. But hope kapit sa unexpected twist. Kudos to Ricky Lee's input. Okay. When you said the seems may mapapagalitan, I'm assuming it's related to that Counter-Strike sound effect sa episode na to. While I said a lot of negative things about that fact na nawala yung immersion ko and stuff like that, man, I just hope na whoever inserted that sound effect, I just hope na they put it in there as an Easter egg or something like that, or as a reference to Counter-Strike games in general. And yun na lang iniisip ko. I think it's just an Easter egg or something like that. Pero it is what it is. Pero yeah, actually hindi ko napansin yun. Hindi ko napansin na yung dinggin moment ng show na to, ng episode na to ay related sa tumindig until na sinabi mo yun, Love. Nakita ko yung comment mo a few days ago. And you know what? Yeah, it is tumindig. It's funny kasi diba tumindig nag-end sa syllable na dig, and then itong dinggin ang sumunod. So yeah, it is tumindig, and it really speaks a lot about our current political atmosphere pagdating sa Pilipinas ngayon. A lot of people are kind of angry with this episode kasi bakit daw masyado naging too political ang show na to. Pero hey, surprise you guys, No Limitangere is a political book. That's the point of this book. It talks about corruption, and it talks about the hardship the Filipinos had to face back in the days. And kaya pinabasa ito ni Professor Torres kay Clay kasi para makita ni Clay yung connection ng No Limitangere sa mundo natin ngayon in our current government space that we have. Say what you want about the Aquinos, say what you want about the Duterte administration, and say what you want about the current Marcos administration. By the end of the day, our political system is still broken. It's still broken. There's still a lot of corruption that is still happening. It's just something that it's really hard to fix. Pero what the point of tumindig is and what the point of dingin nyo kami is basically digin nyo kami, hear us, which means na, hear us through the ways of voting. Diba? Let the people speak, and we can speak through our votes. While I'm not going to assume na may pangdarayang nangyari during the recent election or any other elections in the past, I just hope that whatever the majority voted, I just hope na whoever is sitting in the presidency right now was the right choice. There's nothing else that we can do about it kasi siya na yung nakaupo. Pero I want nothing less but a huge improvement pagdating sa quality of life sa Pilipinas. My main thing right now is that, hopefully hopefully there will be minimal cases of corruption, minimal cases of being greedy when it comes to power, and also yung massive transportation crisis na nangyari sa Pilipinas. Pero yeah, it's all about, basically, this episode is all about voting and stuff, and letting the community, the Filipino community, letting themselves be heard when it comes to criticism, civil criticism, protests, and stuff like that. And yeah, si Ricky Lee, kilala ko ba si Ricky Lee? I haven't heard of Ricky Lee's name, pero okay, scriptwriter. Oh, scriptwriter pala siya. Okay, so if this is Sir Ricky Lee's input, itong tumindig na to, then this is a very surprising addition to the show. Just like I said, it's a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And this is a change that I really appreciate seeing. Thank you for leaving that in, love, and I appreciate I always appreciate the time that you always spend with this community. I really appreciate you, love. Thank you. Alright, Fed Says wrote in, super intense po ng episode. Kakakilabot. Wow, galing ni Christos na may Ibarra. Mas okay pa yung sermon ni Ibarra kaya sabi pa. Yeah, hell yeah. You are 100% correct about that, Feds. Kung tutuusin, this is like the most distinct na sermon na coming from, it's coming from someone who is not a priest, diba? Pero when you think about it, from the context of this show, ito nga yung mas okay nga tong sermon na to ni Ibarra kasi it's something that we can relate to. It's something that speaks a lot when it comes to the closeted opinions of a lot of Filipinos, when it comes to the Philippine government in general. And yeah, it's something that I really appreciate seeing when yung nangyari yung episode na to a few days ago. And yeah, again, super intense episode, and you're right, ang galing ni Crisostomo Ibarra dito. Something that I wasn't expecting for him to do. I feels like it's something that Simon will do, pero this one is also very something that I really like seeing. Thank you for writing that in, Fed Says. Okay, 519 Matri Pat wrote in. Ang pogi mo po for today's video. Blackpink Rose, living correct. Passing ko rin. Hey, thank you guys for the compliment. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I got nothing else to say about it, but thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. Theodore Ginochi wrote in. Kumbaga, naging version ni Clay ang current Nolly. Well, kumbaga, naging version ni Clay ang current Nolly kasi somewhat naging character na din siya sa novela, pero in the end, ganun pa din ang outcome ng story. Yeah, I do believe na yun pa rin maging outcome ng story, pero you know, you're right, Theodore. This is Clyde's version of Noli Me Tangere because of the many influences that she committed in this story. Something probably that even Professor Torres was really surprised about. And yeah, since this is Clyde's Clyde's version of Noli Me Tangere, I'm really curious to know what's going to happen next in the upcoming episodes. Thank you for writing that in, Theodore. And okay, Rose Gargalio wrote in. The best of the best episodes ito ng Mikay. Kasama ang komportasyon ni Mana Clara at Padre Damaso at Sisa, episode 2. At Sisa. Di ko na matandaan yung episode nila. Kahit napaka-intense ang episode, nakaka-proud ito. Kudos sa buong cast at production ng Mikay. Yeah, you know, when it comes to this episode right here, it's up there. Out of the 70 episodes, it's way up there. And that's saying a lot, given that there's a lot of episodes in Mana Clara de Ibarra na talagang nagustuhan ko. And yeah, it's way up there. It feels like na it's an ensemble episode. Parang siya yung Avengers ng Mana Clara de Ibarra kasi lahat ng mga main and minor characters ay nagsama-sama sa loob ng isang simbahan, except for Sisa and Pedro, of course. Pero lahat ng mga main and minor characters nagsama-sama sa loob ng simbahan, and they were able to witness Crisostomo Ibarra's speech, which is something significant and which might also lead to a lot of unforeseen consequences. So thank you for writing that in, Rosa. Andrew Mendoza wrote in. This deserved a standing ovation from all of us. Although this part is not in the book, it awakened the nationalism in me. Okay. Pinaalam niya ang damdamin ko para sa inang bayan. Kudos, Dennis Trillo, in this episode. I truly love Mikay from start to this point and for sure till the end. This series deserves multiple awards, period. I love you, GMA. Thanks, Jasper, for journeying with us through this novel. Hey, thank you, Andrew, for sticking with me and being a part of this community. This journey is nothing without all of you guys, because you guys became a huge part of the Honest Reactions to Mana Clara Tibara series. With your statement, yeah, it does deserve a standing ovation. It's this because of this episode. It's not only like a regular teleserie or a regular Filipino TV show. Because of this episode, it is now something that can really influence the minds of a lot of people. Given na inalab nito ng episode na to ang iyong damdamin, Andrew, pagdating sa Pilipinas, then what more yung iba pang mga taong nanonood dyan? What more sa mga batang nakakanood? What more sa mga teenagers na first-time voters in the coming election? But again, this is something that is really worth watching. And if ang Noli Me Tangere at El Filibustalismo are novels that every Filipino children should read, given that we are Filipinos and we have seen a lot of teleseries, at least Mana Clara at Ibarra is a teleserye that is needed to be seen all of Filipinos. And I hope that will be the case. I hope DepEd will maybe do something about it, or kung sino man mag-enact ng law to make this thing a part of the Rizal law that we currently have. GMA knock it out of the park. GMA knock it out of the park. And this is a testament to how amazing the writing is, not only in the characters, but also in the story, and the fact that they were able to adapt a very old book and make it modernized for the current generation. Then this is a work that is something to be really proud of bilang isang Filipino. Thank you for writing that in, Andrew Mendoza, and I really appreciate you leaving a comment. Vinson Ballesteros, dinggin nyo kami! Dinggin nyo kami. Man, this is a phrase that people will remember sometime in the future. Maybe the next election, baka bumalik na naman yung dinggin nyo kami na yan, pati yung hashtag tumindig na yan. Thank you for writing that in, Vinson. Melly Sapuay wrote in, ako lang ba? O ang kinagulat lang ni Fidel sa sinabi ni Clay, hinuli ng mga Guardia Civil at ang Alfares. At ng sa Alfares ay yung Alfares na para bang alam niya yung original text ng Noli, na hindi kasama yung Alfares na sa humuli kay Ibarra. You might be up to something, Melly. Maybe there's something behind those lines na sinabi ni Fidel. Pero it will be surprising. It will be really surprising if there might be something behind that line. Right now, I just can't think about it. I just don't want to like rely on it. Pero you got some eyes and ears to notice that detail, Melly. Pero yeah, thank you for putting that thing at least on my radar. I'll try to keep myself reminded about what Fidel said during this episode. Thank you so much for that, Melly. Julius Christopher wrote in, this episode is 15 out of 10. Wow. I mean, it goes beyond any expectations. The simbahan at Dinggin Nyo Kami scene is goosebumps. Ibarra having the courage to stand up at imulat ang mga taga San Diego sa mga cancer ng lipunan. Good platform ang simbahan at simbang gabi. Kasi most of the people are present. Hey, pati yung simbahan din mismo, yung simbahan mismo, it gave Ibarra like a good platform to stand on, diba? Alright, ang corny ko. Mana Clara for being the first to support him. Bold and brave, that's our girl. Goosebumps din yun. Imagine isang babae at that time ang tumayo sa upuan sa simbahan at sumuporta sa isang revolusyon. Wow, power. Yeah. Kaya nagulat ako eh. When Mana Clara stood up, at first I was like, oh no, I'm afraid of her. I'm really afraid of her. And then, si Clay naman ang sumunod. Sabi ko, oh no. Pero then I realized, oh yes, this is good. Like, this is good. Right now, people are already standing up because they are being oppressed. This is good. And I just realized na all of the obstacles and the challenges that each of the character had to face throughout the entire show, especially Mana Clara, all of that led to this moment. All of that led to the Dinggin Nyo Kami moment. Feeling ko hindi tatayo si Mana Clara doon kung she wasn't able to face those challenges challenges that she had to endure in the past episode. Kasi she endured a lot. And yeah, all of those things led to this moment. Kaya nakarelate sila sa mga salita, sa mga pananalita ni Ibarra. Pero sa potasyo, ang namulat ay kailanman di napipikit. 100%. I love how they incorporate this. I remember the fight I took part last year. I am glad I am a part of that movement. That's true. Kaya, kaya nga, one of the main lessons of this show then, and this book in general, is basically education. 'Di ba? Mahirap imulat ang ating mga mata kung hindi tayo magbubuklat ng libro. Kailangan natin magbuklat ng libro. Kung hindi man libro, kailangan natin mag-browse sa internet and read bona fide with legitimate sources sa mga binabasa natin. 'Di ba? We simply cannot rely on stuff na nakikita natin sa TikTok, on stuff na nakikita natin sa YouTube. That's not enough. We really need to read bona fide sources, even maybe coming from different countries. Because sometimes you also can't trust the country that you live in because this country can also promote propaganda. That is the world that we live in right now. That is the country that you guys live in right now. And, lalo kung makarat yung fake news with the rise of social media, it's way easier to believe in fake news. It's way easier to be gullible. Kasi people right now just doesn't have the internet literacy para ma-separate nila kung ano yung totoo at hindi. Kaya, again, mahalaga talaga na dapat lahat tayo nakabukas ang ating mga mata. And mabubuksan natin ang ating mga mata if we read the books. If we do read a lot. And if we are reading the stuff are legitimate. Mr. Torres, alinlangan about the ending. It has been said and implied na bago na ni Clay ang kwento. This is so interesting. It is. Given now what we have, we basically have, it feels like now we have a few more weeks and a month para ikwento ang buong story ng El Filibusterismo. What are the chances na because of this change in the show, then we are going to get a very different version of El Filibusterismo. Nung narinig ni Elias ang pagsasalita ni Ibarra, I saw his emotions of having this satisfaction or maybe comfort. Parang vinalidate lahat ni Ibarra ang pinaglalaban niya. Yeah, I think yung mga ngiti mismo ni Elias, I think that's a gesture of, or basically Elias telling to himself na si Ginoong Ibarra, he finally understood. Not only he finally understood what I've been trying to fight for, but he also finally understood what the common people are trying to face in their everyday lives. Kaya I was really happy seeing Elias smile here. Given that it was just a few minutes or even hours since na nalaman ni Elias yung katotohanan sa identity ni Ibarra. One thing's for sure, Elias is still a friend pagdating sa social circle mismo ni Ibarra. Acting is all on point. Dennis once again proved that he is credible and a household name when it comes to the acting department. He cemented the title, the Philippine Drama King. Siya pala yung Philippine Drama King. Okay, yeah, that's true. Amazing performance from Dennis Trillo, as always. Barbie, again, a wide range of acting skills, a primetime princess, 100% true. Nakita ko talaga yung range ng kanyang acting whenever she's always with Sisa, whenever she's always sharing scenes with Sisa. It feels na doon natin nakikita yung other ranges ni Barbie Forteza bilang isang artista. Siyempre si Julie din, 100%. Yung reaction mo, Jasper, oh no, oh yes. Same time, yeah, yung ang reaction ko yung tumayo si Clay. I mean, oh no, wag mapapahama kayo, oh yes, G, laban niya. Yeah, exactly what I explained earlier. P.S. Ang daming social political issues ang na-triggered nitong mga nakarang episode lalo sa speech ni Ibarra. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people get triggered about it. A lot of people watches a show as a form of escapism, diba? Sometimes there are people who watches shows like this in order to escape politics, diba? Given na itong show na to and yung nobela na to, given na ang roots nila ay basically political, then a scene like this isn't something na di natin maiwasang makita, di ba? Eventually, it will happen. Eventually, a huge talking point, maging huge talking point yung politics na nangyari during in the past, in the show, and even what's happening in real life. Pero, I can't blame the people na talagang na nabwisit sa episode na to. But at the same time, sometimes kailangan din nila makita yung katotohanan, di ba? Kasi ang mundo nila ay umiikot in a political world. You cannot escape politics. Call yourself a political all you want, but your lifestyle is 100% based on the politics that you live in. Even sa mga trabaho mo and stuff like that. Because all of us are trying to follow laws, and that means laws can be really influential. Diba? It can lead to many things. And, the best way to help the country is not to be a political. The best way to help a country is to be aware and accept that you have to coexist with politics. Thank you for writing that in, Julius. And I really appreciate your comment. Jay Loreto wrote in, cute mo. Thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate the compliment. Thank you for that. Ihawan wrote in, goosebumps. Grave. Yeah, goosebumps. I was having chills at the back of my... Talagang nasupresa ako. And I just really don't know how to react. Pero, just like I said before, it's a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Thank you so much for writing that in, Ihawan. Nelly Padua wrote in, a gut-wrenching episode. Truly inspiring. Superb acting for Dennis Trillo and the rest of the actors. Kudos to the writers. Bravo. 100%. I got nothing else to say about it, pero yeah, this episode was truly amazing. Truly amazing. Even though there was this small nitpick that I had and immersion breaking scene sa episode na to, by the end of the day, that is really, really influential when it comes to us being Filipinos, diba? Again, kudos to the writers. And even to the actors. Oh, wow. 9 replies. Ang dami nito. Oh, okay. Comment Neowise. Okay, bago natin basahin ang mga reply nila, babasahin ko muna yung comment ni Neowise and reply ako. Sana bawasan yung twist. Tulad kay Ibarra nagsasalita sa pulpito or politiko na wala naman sa Nori. Haha. Yung pamangkin ko tuloy nalilito kasi araw-araw siya nanonood ng Mikay, iba naman yung nakalagay sa novel. Okay. Sige, basahin ko muna to. Okay, you cannot blame them for having a theatrical alteration of the novel. Na doon si Clara and she altered a lot already. Hindi naman binakit ang Mikay as a typical Nollywood creation. Keep that in mind. Mala Clara de Barra kasi title, hindi siya actual na Nolly, kaya may changes at ibang twist sa story because of Clyde's character. Twist lang po yun, pero the whole novel story is doon pa rin papunta. Hindi po nalilihis ng Mikay ang Nori. Binigyan lang nila ng konting spice ng story. Keyword, reimagined. Na-explain naman ni Mr. Torres kung bakit nailihis ang bahagya ng kwento. Kung nanood ka talaga ng Mikay, ang initial response mo dapat sa pamangkin mo explain sa kanyang word na reimagined. Well, may kanya-kanya talagang tayong interpretasyon. Pero ito lang masasabi ko. Kung nabubuhay pa ang author ng nobela at ginawa ng ibang twist ang plot ng story, ano kaya mararamdaman ng author? Okay, move on na ako. I'm just waiting for Voltes 5. Pero sana wag nang haluan ng Lenny ideology ang Voltes 5 at samahan ang script sa lalaban tayo titindig, hindi na muling pipigit OMG na lang kung ganun. Writer na Mikay at Voltes 5 si Suzette Doctorero Kahit kailan naman hindi na makakatindig si Lenny na mulat ng mga Pilipino gaya sa story na Mikay. Ito naman sabi ko. Punta tayo dito. Alright. May disclaimer. Ang programang ito na hango sa manobela ni Dr. Jose Rizal ay naisadula gamit ang mga elementong pangdrama upang itulay ang kasalukuyan at nakaraang panahon sa isang natatanging reimagined na obra ng pinagmamalaking pambansang literatura. I think this is enough para ma-explain yung changes na nangyari dito sa show na to. Pero I completely understand if, some people would just skip this part of the story. Pero, what I've been trying to say in the past before, like in the past na, remember, no limitangere nga itong story na to. No limitangere nga. Pero remember, ang title ng show is hindi no limitangere, kung hindi Maria Clara at Ibarra, which means na we'll have some difference. Given na from the beginning episode, we already have a Gen Z who get transported into the world of no limitangere, then that means there's already a difference there. My advice lang to you comment is that, sure, nalilito yung pamangkin mo, pero nandiyan ka naman para explain sa kanya why there are some changes there. Nandiyan ka para supportan siya so that you can guide him happened in the books and what happened in the show. Pero at any angle, when you try to look at it in any angle, basically both both of the shows are the novel and the show are telling the same story. They have the same themes, and basically they have the same messages. When it comes to this novel and show in general, it doesn't matter kung ano yung mga small details or yung mga plot points na nangyari sa istorya mismo. What matters is how did the story in general affected you as a person, as a Filipino. Given na both of the novel and the show is giving the same messages, I think that's the most important thing. Yung message mismo. And yeah, that's all that I can say about it, comment. Thank you for writing that in. John Aris of Femia wrote in, grabe tong episode na to. Tayo din talaga balahibo ko habang pinapanood ko to. Yeah. It's really interesting na tuwing usually tumato yung balahibo ko, or I get goosebumps whenever I see like very amazing action on the scene. Maybe while watching a Marvel show, while watching a DC show or a Marvel movie, stuff like that. But given the fact that this is just a drama that talks about Philippine history, the fact that it was able to surprise me and it was able to give me chills, then that's really saying a lot to the quality of the show. And yeah, hey, I'm happy na tumayong na balahibo mo dyan, Aris. It means na this show is doing something very good when it comes to us as the viewers. Thank you for writing that in. Ron Mercado wrote in, I think yung epilogue, iniiba nila. Parang dinagdag yan sa end ng No Limit Tangere at magiging continuation siya ng El Fili. Yeah, I mean, we'll see more whenever we do see the El Fili stories be adapted in this show. Pero I wouldn't be surprised for any other future changes that they might do here, as long as they're trying to stick with the message of the novels. Thank you for writing that in, Ron. Okay, Ushima Wakatoshi wrote in, at least now Prof. Torres succeeded on opening Clyde's eyes 100% of the true goal of the novel. Kasama na nga si Clyde mismo sa pagkikibaka sa pagkipaglaban ni Ibarra, na noon sure ako hindi gagawin ni Clyde. Noon, walang pakialam si Clyde sa problema ng lipunan dahil iniisip niya pa rin ang sariling suliranin. Pero ngayon, nasaan na siya, kasamang sumigaw at humiling na pakinggan ang kanilang tinig para imulat ang mamata ng mga taga San Diego. 100%. This is why I love the character development and the character story of Clay, because when you think of it, whenever there's a huge chance na someone started watching this show just for the characters, diba? I'm pretty sure na sina Barbie Forteza, Dennis Trillo, and Julian San Jose, they were also featured in other teleseries. And then it only makes sense now some people would watch this show for the celebrities, diba? There's also a huge chance na by episode 70, yung mga taong nagsimulang panoorin yung show na to, na apolitical, they became more involved to politics because of what they did on episode 70. So when you try to think of it, si Clay mismo represents the entire audience of Mana Clara Tibara. And kung anong development na nangyari kay Clay, it feels like na yun din ang development na nangyari mismo sa mga taong nanood nito just for the celebrities. I do hope na whatever message Maria Clara is trying to express here pagdating sa mga audience, I do hope na pumasok yun sa isipan at sa puso ng mga nanonood. And hopefully they will realize na kung gaano ka-importante incorporating politics in your life. Kasi again, politics is our lifestyle. That's how we live. Politics is how we travel around the country. It's how we travel to work. It's how we budget our money for the groceries. It's how we pay rent. Politics is always involved there. Kung gusto mong gumawa ng iyong buhay, other than working really hard and being consistent with your savings, hey, why not incorporate politics in general and makibaka in things na you feel na ikabubuti mismo ng Pilipinas in the future, diba? But yeah, you're right about that, Ushihima. And thank you for writing that in. I really appreciate your comment. Enzo Lorenzo wrote in, yung pag-sign of the cross niya habang hawak-hawak ang baril. Yeah, it just really... Ako, when I was a kid, whenever I'm trying to do something sa school, recitation, or PowerPoint presentation, kung pupunta ako sa harapan mismo ng classroom, I always sign of the cross. That's just my thing, but that's just a Filipino way of doing things. But basically, it's a gesture that Ibarra had to do because basically this is it. No point of returning, diba? Nasa platform na siya, may baril na siya sa kanyang kamay. Now all he has to do is to speak up and tell the people of San Diego what he feels about the current government and the current power that the frailes have pagdating sa Pilipinas mismo. And I think because of that sign of the cross, because tumaas ang confidence niya, I think he was able to succeed and he was able to open the eyes of the people of San Diego. Think of writing that in, Enzo? Joe Tubbs wrote in. Okay, before I watched the episode 70, abangan scene, the episode 69, initial impression ko, hindi maganda to, nagkakalat na si Ibarra, wala na to sa libro. Sa pag-akyat niya doon, sa tinatayuan. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, actually, yun na naisip ko. Kinabahan ako yung nakita ko sa abangan na doon siya. Sabi ko, ano ginagawa niya dyan? Right? Sa pagkakit niya doon, tinaniwan ng pares, simba na may baril, it's like adding more insult to injury. Kung sumama lang talaga sana niya yung payapa, baka doon pa nalaman na fabricated lang parang sulat. But, after I watched episode 70, wala nga sa libro sa explain ni Mr. Torres. Pero maganda at napaka-powerful ng Sine Ibarra. It ignited the hearts of all the viewers. Nakakabilis ng tibok ng puso. Mapapatulo na lang ang luha mo kung ma-internalize mo ang sinabi ni Ibarra sa sitwasyon ng San Diego sa bansang Pilipinas. At yung acting na gusto kong makita kay Dennis Trillo na buhos niya, na burst out niya ang totoong hinanakit ni Ibarra, very satisfying. And sa last part, kung napatugtog ang instrumental ng ambayan ko, parang nilipad ang emosyon ko ng tuloy-tuloy at mayakap ang mensahe ng no limitang sa ating lahat bilang Pilipino. Nakakreate siya ng historical and nationalistic vibe para sa akin. The simple instrumental background, parang binigyan tayo ng moment na nag-emote sa kalagayan ng Pilipinas mula noon hanggang ngayon. Hey, once they played ang bayan ko, on that part, suddenly, this show became a show about like the current political atmosphere of the Philippines. Well, yeah, we've been saying that for a while now. Na sinasabi natin, this show is related to the current political atmosphere of the Philippines and stuff like that. Pero once na they played ang bayan ko, it feels like this show broke the barrier. It feels like it broke the fourth wall. It feels like this show just started talking to us. Nakikita niyo si Deadpool. Si Deadpool biglang kakausapin niya yung audience. And yung mga lumang comedy films ng mga Pilipino, guys, si Vic Soto Dolphy, biglang kakausapin yung audience. Suddenly, from episode 1 to episode 69, pinapanood lang natin yung show. And as a viewer, diba? As a viewer, pinapanood lang natin yung show as a viewer. And then suddenly on episode 70, when they played ang bayan ko, suddenly we became a part of the characters of Mada Clara Ibarra. It broke the fourth wall. Yeah, I was really surprised that they played that instrumental right there at the back. Super familiar sa akin yung kanta na yan kasi my brother used to sing when he was a child sa mga contests and stuff like that, and kinanta niya ang bayan ko. And I grew up, as a kid, I grew up very political. Bata pa lang ako, I was still in elementary. Kilala ko na yung mga Aquino, kilala ko na yung mga Marcos, kilala ko na yung mga Estrada, mga Arroyo, mga Macapagal. At least aware na ako kung anong tagbo ng politika ng Pilipinas. Kaya alam ko yung mga kantang Ambayan Ko, alam ko yung kantang Ang Handog ng Pilipinas sa buong mundo, alam ko na yung mga kantang yung mga kanta ni Freddie Aguilar, yung mga lumang kanta, yung mga ganun kanta. And yeah, I'm just, everything that you said about this show taps is 100% correct. And I'm just really satisfied on what I've seen. This is a scene, an episode that I wasn't expecting to happen at all. Pero it was a very surprising moment. It feels na this episode right here was an experience that we will never get to feel again in a long time. And I really appreciate that I was able to experience it. I was able to share it to you guys. And wow, this is something na babalik-balikan ko. Babalik-balikan ko yung reaction ko na to in the few years, in the many years to come. Crazy. It's crazy. Thank you for writing that in, Joe Tabs. And hey, I really appreciate your comments as always. Ming wrote in, Along with the confirmation from Mr. Torres that Cly was able to alter the story a little, the end music also changed to ang bayan ko instead. Kaya ako bago naman nakalipas. It's actually a small detail that makes the following episode more interesting to watch. We'll see if gagamitin pa rin nila ang bayan ko or babalik ito sa original song. I feel na babalik ito sa original song. 100%. Ang bayan, the change to ang bayan ko, just like I said, became the thing that broke the barrier between the viewers and the Clara at Ibarra show. Because of the song Ang Bayan Ko, suddenly all of us, the viewers, became a part, became characters of this show itself. It broke the fourth wall for me. And it basically means there's more to this episode than just what sa dinggin nyo kami scene na yun. And it's open to interpretation. But the basic gist of the message is that we need to vote properly. We need to open our eyes. And at the same time, people who are seated in the government needs to listen to us. We voted for them. Diba? Nakaupo sila dyan for a reason because we trusted them. Wala silang karapatan para sirain na rin tiwala natin sa kanila. We hired them. Ang sambayan ng Pilipino, hinar nila itong mga politika na to para i-lead yung country sa tamang daanan. And hopefully, that will be the case in the many years to come. But it's going to take a lot of time. And it's going to take a lot of changes. Thank you for writing that in, Ming. Mika O wrote in, sumabog na ang bulkan ni Ibarra. Nakakapanindig. Balahibo ang episode na to. Grabe. Kinalibutan din po ako. Wow. Kung ang iba ay maaaring masabi that time na anong pumapasok sa isip ni Ginoong Ibarra, tinakasan na ba siya ng bait? Ngunit si Clara ay batid ang ginawa at pinaglaban ng kanyang sinisinta. Kaya walang atubili na nakibaka at sinabi na rin ang katagang dinggin nyo kami. Tunay na nabatid ni Elias sa pagkakataon na ito na iba si Ibarra sa kanyang mga ninuno. Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's go Monday. Si Clay ay nag-alala kay Fidel kaso ang eksena ay hinuhuli na ng Guardia Civil. Pero love that kind of feels naman. Yeah, that's true. Nag-alala na siya kay Fidel pero nalilimutan na because of this episode, because of how big this episode is, nalilimutan na natin yung Clydel, yung Clydel love team. Pero hey, it's important. It just basically means na we are so focused on the digin nyo kami scene na it means na, it's something that we need to talk about more, diba? Other than the other side stories kaya na Clydel. But yeah, you are 100% correct about that. I was afraid. Actually, I was afraid na baka after ng speech na yon, I was thinking na, okay, by the end of the day, huhulihin si Ibarra and iisipin ng mga tao na nasiraan na ng bad si Ibarra. Pero the fact na tumayo si Clara, kaya sabi ko, oh no. Tapos tumayo si Clay, sabi ko din, oh no. Iniisip ko na, okay, baka madami sila, baka makulong sila. Pero no, by the time na tumayo si Clay, na-realize ko na, oh yes, this is good. Nakikibaka na yung mga tao, nagigising na yung San Diego. So there was this straight change of path na nasa isipan ko, na akala ko makukulong si Ibarra and stuff like, well, baka makulong pa rin siya. Na akala ko na isipin ng mga tao na sira na ba si Ibarra, pero no, as it turns out, people listened to him and people were able to relate to him. And it can only mean a lot of things. And again, I would be surprised if it's going to do a ton of changes on the story moving forward, especially on El Filibusterismo. Pero yeah, that's true. Thank you for writing it in, Mika O. And finally, at least on this video, on this honest reaction, Maria Lourdes wrote in. Alright, hi Sir Jasper. Hi Maria Lourdes. Kakatapos ko na panoorin ng mga reaction videos mo from episode 65 to 70 at ang reaction video mo sa Voltes 5 Legacy. Thank you so much for that. Naging busy lang this past week. Celebration ng New Year with family and relatives and pagbalik sa work. Mga meetings naman at mga reports ngayon medyo okay na. Yeah, especially, whenever after a huge vacation like that or after the holiday break, usually the following week, the first week of January is going to be busy. So I really appreciate it. I really understand it, Maria Lourdes. Pero hey, I'm glad to see you back and you're leaving comments here again, and I really miss seeing your comments. Ang masasabi ko sa episode na ito ay wow. Doon sa monologue ni Ibarra, tumayo talaga ako at lumapit sa TV. Nakatingin lang talaga ako sa mukha niya, lalo na sa mga mata niya. Naiyak ako nung nakita ko yung reaction ni Professor Torres. Naiyak ba siya dahil tila may nagbago sa nobela o marahil nadadala din siya sa eksena? Siguro hindi niya sukat akalain na mawi-witness niya yun. You know what? Yeah, nakita mo umiyak si Professor Torres. I think talaga nadala siya sa eksena. Not only nadala siya sa eksena, pero the fact na umiyak siya doon on that scene na yun, hindi man siya nagsalita ng digin nyo kami, hindi siya sumalit sa mga ganun. Pero deep inside, deep in his heart, lumilihab ang puso niya. Lumilihab ang puso niya. If he is a history teacher, then that really means a lot to him, diba? We still don't know. I mean, Professor Torres is still a mystery. He is still a mystery. There's still a lot of secrets about him. Kaya mahirap siyang basahin. Pero the fact na umiyak siya mismo sa eksena na yon, it goes to show na since may power siyang ganito, I'm pretty sure na binisita niya yung mundo ng No Limit Tangere several times. That was a time na, I mean, that was something that he haven't seen. I mean, that was something na nakita niya for the first time for sure. Kasi nagulat siya at nadala siya mismo ng eksena. And I wonder how, after this episode, I wonder how the chemistry between Professor Torres and Clara will work. Ano na yung papag-usapan nila sa next coming episodes, diba? Paano na maging takbo ng story because of this. Ang galing talaga ni Dennis Trillo. Tapos, nung narinig ko yung instrumento ng bayan ko, doon talaga ako napasabi ng wow, yeah. Just like I said, sa bayan ko, the show was able to break the barrier between the viewer and the show itself, and it feels like na because of ang bayan ko, we suddenly became the characters of Clara Ibarra. It broke the fourth wall. Ang galing talaga ni Dennis Trillo, may nakapagsabi na one take lang daw yung scene na yun. Oh wow, talaga? Kung totoo yun, ang galing talaga. Just like yung scene na monologue ni Sisa, one take lang din yun. Isang mahabang shot. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, mahaba nga yung yung nga sinabi ko, yung mahaba nga yung take na yun. Pero kung given na one take din kay Dennis Trillo, I'm just simply surprised. I'm pretty sure that there's still a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. Pero, hey, kudos to Dennis Trillo. I'm pretty sure na he worked really hard in order to execute that scene right there. Pero kitang-kita mo sa kanyang emosyon sa kanyang mukha, even in his actions, na miski si Dennis Trillo din mismo ay nadadala sa kanyang mga pananalita, di ba? Alam naman namin na wala ito sa nobela. Ito ay twist na ginawa ng mga writers and expected na yun na may ilan na hindi okay dito. Yeah, expected na nga. Pero for me, okay ito kasi I know it will never change the fate of the characters and the ending of the story para na itong NFT in Clyde's POV. Remember nga na, diba, it is reimagined. We always have this disclaimer in the beginning of each episode. So that was something that I was expecting. Pero it was a big enough change na it may be rub off some people in the wrong way. Pero it is a welcome change. It is a big change, pero a very welcome change. Kasi it's still spreading the same message that No Limit Tangere, the novel, has been spreading for several decades, diba? It's all about being heard, diba? I think that's the point why Jose Rizal wrote No Limit Tangere. Gusto ni Jose Rizal dinggin na mga foreigners, dinggin ng Espanya ang current hardships ng mga Pilipino during that time. The novel itself is basically dinggin nyo kami. If dinggin nyo kami, turn it to a book, that's basically No Limit Tangere. And the fact na the writers were able to write a scene like this that basically shows the essence of the No Limit Tangere and El Filipistorismo books, then it completely works. It's sharing the same message. Medyo natawa lang din ako doon sa reaction mo na, oh no, oh yes, plus your facial expression. Yeah, I mean, kinakabahan ako the whole time when that scene was happening. Pero suddenly, doon ko din na-realize kung saan tumayo si Clay, doon ko din na-realize na, oh, you know what, this is good. I like this. I like the fact that this is happening. Diba? Maisingit ko lang din. I really like your reaction videos sa Voltus 5 Legacy. Thank you so much for that, Mariam. Yung hype ko dito sa Clara, ganoon din sa Voltus 5 Legacy. Proud talaga ako sa mga tao ng GMA Network. Sana magkaroon ng parang documentary or the making of Voltus 5 Legacy. Yeah, I'm down for that. Even Clara Tibara. Wala ako napanood dati sa isang YouTube channel na parang interview with... meron ako napanood dati sa YouTube channel na parang interview kay Sir Noel Flores. And-explain niya doon yung mga ideas nila para sa initial designs ng set and costumes. Sana may ipakita yung mga initial to final designs. Gusto ko lang din makita lahat ng mga designs na ginagawa nila kahit yung mga hindi na-approve. And kahit late na, I still want to greet you. Happy New Year. Wishing you good health and more blessings. God bless. Hey, I monitor this. Happy New Year to you too. And I also wish nothing but amazing health para sa you and to your family. God bless then. And again, thank you for that message. Yeah, I'm down for anything, for any documentary na involves about the making of something. I still love the making of Star Wars Episode 1 nasa YouTube siya. Kasi it really shows na whenever you watch a show or whenever you watch a movie, you're just seeing it from a surface level. If you really want to dig deeper, if you really want to see the underwater part of an iceberg, then you have to watch the behind the scenes stuff that's been happening. Kasi it shows some faces that you're not familiar with. It shows the heroes that work on the show that you love or at the movie that you love. And, at least makita natin yung mga mukha ng mga tao who was behind these amazing shows that we are watching for free, diba? And yeah, I'm really down for that. And if they did, baka gumawa din ng reaction video doon. Pero again, thank you for writing that in, Mario Lourdes. And hey, Happy New Year, Mario Lourdes. I hope you have an amazing, amazing year. All right. Wow. Isang oras na tayo nagsasalita dito. Pero this time, we still have 30 comments here for the analysis. Babasahin natin to lahat. All right, newest first. Love wrote in. Thank you, Jasper. The Holy Battles words summarize what Rizal wanted to deliver. 100%. 100%. Sabi ko sa comment ni Mario Lourdes on the other video na basically, the dinggin nyo kami scene is basically the like the physical representation of the book, diba? Kasi Jose Rizal wrote the books para dinggin ng mga foreigners at dinggin ng Espanya current reality during that time ng mga Pilipino during that time, diba? It's Rizal's way of telling the Spanish government na ito ang kinaharap ng mga kababayan ko. We have a problem with your government and we also have a problem with the power that the frailes have pagdating sa bansang ito. Bakit parang kami mga Pilipino, bakit parang kami yung second class citizens sa mismong lupa namin? Yun ang lumalabas. And just like I said, if the phrase dinggin nyo kami turns into a book, then it's basically no limitang rin and Filibustrismo. I agree with you, love, and basically ito nga ang isang summary ng mga words na gustong i-deliver mismo ni Rizal. Thank you so much for that, love. Okay, Theodore Ginochi wrote in, wala yang dinggin nyo kami sina yan sa libro. Filler siguro yan para alam natin kung saan point na karoon ng main transition si Ibarra into Simon Selfili. Isa ring way yan para ipakita sa mga na nabago si Clara ang flow ng story, but the outcome will still be the same. We have to remember that this is that it is titled Maria Clara Ibarra and not Noli Me Tangere. Kaya may konting alteration na naganap, pero it will not change the ending. Yeah, that's been a thing that I've been saying in the past. Na remember, this show's name is Maria Clara Ibarra. This is not Noli Me Tangere, diba? Kasi Maria Clara at Ibarra implies na there will be some changes, and this is an adaptation of the book. This is a modern adaptation in the book. Malinaw na yan since episode 1 because we have a Gen Z who went back in time or at least went into the story of the books, diba? Pero yeah, I think hindi siya filler. I think filler is not the right word kasi filler is just something to maybe fill up the runtime that an episode needs. Pero I think, not a filler, pero I think this is like a significant addition to the main story of Noli Me Tangere. That's what I can call it. Kasi basically this scene right here, in some way, it can be like some form of spoon feeding para sa mga taong hindi pa rin gets yung story, diba? Pero because of this scene, it shows na at least people will be aware na talagang iba na talaga nararamdaman ni Ibarra pagdating sa city ng San Diego. At talagang gising na si Ibarra about sa katotohanan ng dinadanas sa mga Pilipino sa city mismo ng San Diego, diba? Pero, hey, it can be argued. It can be argued na ito na ngayong transition ni Ibarra to Simon. Para sa akin, ang transition ni Ibarra to Simon is when he started to point a knife to Padre Damaso. Pero, it's open to interpretations, Other people would say na he became Simon on the first chapter of El Filibusterismo. In some shape or form, kahit man anong isipin natin, Ibarra already went past that border, and Ibarra is indeed, some part of him is already Simon. And that is something that I can agree with you, Theodore. Thank you for writing that in, Theodore. James Ironwood wrote in. The Ibarra speech was in the book. Yep. It really changed the story. In the books, when Ibarra was arrested, he doesn't have anybody beside him because everyone has left him. But there, he has his friends who was with him, Clay, Fidel, Elias. I think that's why he still keeps himself intact and sane. And crazy enough, most of the people of San Diego are with him now. Even Mara Clara, she did not stood up because she's a supportive BF. She also stood up to fight for herself, which did not really happen in the books. That's true. And nabasa din ni Mana Clara yung Les Miserables, di ba? And Les Miserables is all about, it's also all about revolution and for fighting what's right, di ba? It's all about the people too. And I think it can be also argued na because na pinabasa ni Clay yung libro kay Mana Clara, then maisip din natin na tumayo si Mana Clara sa mga inauupuan niya sa simbahan dahil nabasa niya yung libro. Clay's intervention really changed the story a lot. That's true. Even Mr. Torres didn't know what's going to happen next. Who knows? We might get a happy ending unlike in the books this time. Okay. Pag-usapan mo natin yung first sentence mo. Yeah, that's true. Everybody did leave him. Kaya, I was curious for a long time how they are going to continue telling Clyde's story and Fidel's story given na kailangan ni Ibarra mag-isa kasi yun ang nangyari sa libro. Pero now, Ibarra has a lot of friends. He earned more friends on that simbahan scene, di ba? A lot of people supports him. A lot of people supported what he is trying to stand up for. With that being said, how is that going to affect the times where he needs to be alone, where he needs to be all by himself mismo doon sa chapters sa nobela kung saan siya lang si Mr. Lonely, diba? So, we're going to see it. We're going to see it in the future. Pero you know what? We keep on saying na kung ano man mangyari sa ending ng Noli Me Tangere, yun pa rin, diba? Yun pa rin. Well, I'm still with the party na kung ano yung ending ng Noli Me Tangere, yun pa rin ending ng show na to. Or at least sa Noli Me Tangere part ng show na to. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to make some changes sa ending mismo. I wouldn't be surprised. So, if it did happen, if there are some changes, then I will welcome it. I will welcome it. Again, I already trust the writers anyways. So, I will just let the writers tell the story. And I'm here to watch. I'm here to listen. If I don't like it, you will be the first people who will know about my opinions about it. But right now, I trust the writers. Thank you for writing that in, James. And also, Lavar Ball wrote in, hindi maaaring mabagong ending nito. We'll see. We'll see, Lavar Ball. Tignan natin. Melissa Puay wrote in, yung Do You Hear the People Sing? Super akma sa episode. Kasi Les Miserables din yung libro na pinasa ni Maria Clara. 100%. Kinilig ako na siya ang unang tumindig katabi ni Ibarra, sinundan ng isa pang Maria Clara at isang tala. Tatlong kababaihan. Oh, yeah. Tama. Tatlong kababaihan. Tatlong bituing nakapalibot at naglalaganap ng araw. Ibarra. Oh! There we go. There we go. Yeah, you know what, Melly? Good thing na napansin mo yun. You know what? You're right. Tama, no? Tatlong kababait. Yeah, feeling ko si Tala nga tumayo. Yeah. It's crazy na, ngayon tawag na dito sa Pilipinas, diba? And during this time, wala pang bandila yung Pilipinas mismo. In some way, because of your statement, Melly, we can mirror this scene, or at least, maybe, the writers took inspiration, the sewing or the weaving of the Philippine flag. We keep on saying this when we were children, diba? Still, tatlong kababaihan, and stuff like that. I think they took inspirations from this painting right here. Kaya they decided to know, you know what? Since meron tayong araw, which is si Ibarra, since siya yung apoy na nagpapalihab sa mga puso ng San Diego, ilagay na natin yung tatlong kababaihan dyan, which is also yung tatlong kababaihan na nagtahi mismo ng bandila ng Pilipinas. And it can be argued, figuratively, kung ito man yung magiging unang, isa sa mga unang visualization ng pagka Pinoy pride or nationalism ng mga Philippine island locals, which are Filipinos, it can be argued na this can be like the birth, yung simbahan yun, that can be the birthplace or the birthday of the general idea of Filipinas, of the Philippines, of the nationality of the country, di ba? Kaya may tatlong between. I like your comment here, Melly. I really appreciate this. Hindi ko napansin yon, and good thing na nakita mo yun. That's why I really like reading all of your comments, everybody's comments, kasi may napapansin ng mga bagay na I haven't thought about when I'm trying to do the analysis. And also, Melly wrote in, pinakatagos pa rin yung scene ng pag-iyak ni Professor Torres. Isipin mo, ang tagal mo nang inuulit-ulit ang kwento ng kabiguan at pag-aalumpis, lipusta, pero ngayon makikita mo yung mga tao na tumindig. Grabe. Yeah, given a history teacher siya, and he might have a ton of students in the past na who doesn't care about Jose Rizal or Norm Tangan in general. Pero, naalala yung during the election, a few months ago, if ikay Marcos, you attended those Marcos rallies, diba? If you're Maca Robredo, you attended those Robredo rallies and stuff like that. By the end of the day, whenever you're in an area, in a community where you guys share the same ideals and stuff like that, hindi mo maiwasang umiyak. Diba? Hindi mo na maiwasang umiyak. And man, if I am in one of those rallies in person, hey, lalabas talaga yung pagka-nationalism ko, yung pagka-nationalismo ko. And ako pretty sure iiyak din if ever we're trying to make a change that we feel that is right, diba? But by the end of the day, all of us wanted nothing but the best para sa Pilipinas mismo. And yeah, you are completely right about that. I'm just really happy na si Professor Torres mismo ay umiiyak during that scene. Talagang ramdam niya yung scene na yun. Nag-iisa lang talaga si Dennis Trillo. Sabi niya sa interview niya sa balita, kasama raw siya sa original na cast of Voltes 5. 10 years ago bilang freestyle. Talaga? Wow. Wala lang, palatas-tas lang. Wait, that's an interesting trivia. It means na talagang barang na pala ng GMA, gamitin yung live action. Gamitin yung IP ng Voltes 5 para in their own version of live action, diba? Pero that's pretty cool. Hey, good thing na lang na siya pa rin si General Armstrong ba yun? Yung tatay ng mga Armstrong in the show. And yeah, I'm just really happy for him. Okay, Blue Archer wrote in, Jasper, I believe this is just an insert scene. Absolutely, this is not a part of Nolly. However, I think everything will go back to normal. Citing the teaser for next week when Ibarra was placed in jail. I guess it will follow the original flow of the novel where Elias will help Ibarra get out of jail. This scene also gave me lame set of feels. All in all, this episode was more of the depiction of the message the writers and directors would want the audience to feel and hopefully imbibe. Just my thoughts. No, dude, Blue Archer, you are 100% right about that. I'm still not sure about the fact na everything might go back to normal. Slowly, because of this scene, I'm already at the point na, you know what? I'm open for all changes na. As long as it's going to be for the betterment of the show and para mas malinaw yung message na gustong ipalabas din ni Rizal sa sambayan ng Pilipino when he wrote these books, diba? Pero yeah, I just really wanted to sorry na nag-blackout ako, pero I just really wanted, given na talaga na pamanaw sa mga characters na to, like I fell in love with these characters way too much na. In the books, gustong-gusto ko lang si Ibarra and si Clara. Pero here, man, when they did the dinggin yung kami scene and all of those even minor characters started to chime in, man, I just kaya sabi ko parang medyo open ako sa kung ano mong ending ng gawin nila dito. I just want a good ending. Ayaw ko na ng bitter ending. I want nothing but the best for all of the characters sa San Diego mismo, except for Padre Salvin, Padre Damaso. Pero hey, if they're going to stick with the books, then that's fine. I mean, all support for that. Pero again, I will also support for some changes that they will do in the books. So, as long as ikasasaya ko, diba? Pero yeah, you're right about it, Blue. Thank you for writing that in. Francis T. wrote in, the amount of nationalism in this episode is overflowing. During Ibarra's speech, I was not an audience watching a show. I was a Filipino, 100%. Thirsty to see positive changes in our present society, 100%. Ito yung sinasabi ko eh. Once that they played the Ambayan ko scene, suddenly it broke the barrier, it broke the fourth wall, and suddenly, instead of us being an audience, we became the characters of Mana Clara at Ibarra. And that Ambayan ko scene was the perfect ending music to put it in an episode like this. I am, however, thirsty now. We hopefully will be able to see some changes sa present society. I hope this episode will be able to will reach more people around the Philippines to make them more political in a sense. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Francis. Thank you for writing that in. Joe Tabs wrote in, nagsimula ng pag-shift ng flow ng story after sabihan ni Clay si Ibarra sa gubat. Okay, that time obvious natapakan ni Clay ang ego ni Ibarra. Episode 43, katulad ng pananahimik niyo nung winalang hiyang ang ama niyo. Sir, nasaan na yung matapang na krisaso mo, Ibarra, na kilala ko? Like kang napapaka-play safe, duwag ka. Honestly, ito yung best example na medyo na-alter ang kwento sa original in a very good way. Best episode for all of us. Napaka-powerful. Nakamuna talaga. 100%. 100%. Kaya, people are now saying na, even Mr. Torres is in agreement na this is basically Clyde's version of Noli Me Tangere. She just did a lot. Pagdating sa mental pag-iisip ng mga characters here, not only physical. I keep on saying that the ink is dry. The ink is dry. Pero I wouldn't be surprised if, even though the ink is dry, Clyde might have a different pen, rip out that paper, and write her own version of the story. Pero hey, I'm here. I am very welcoming of new changes if ever they're going to do that. I'm open to change. I'm open to new interpretations. But I just hope na it's a good change in the long run. Thank you for writing that in, Joe Tabs. And also, you wrote in possible meaning ng pag-iyak ni Mr. Torres. Na-overwhelm siya sa sinabi ni Ibarra at na-witness niya ang reaction ng mga Indios sa loob ng simbahan. Gulong-gulo. Nasa gulo-gulo na sa gaganap. Miss ni Paano sa autograph sa libro. Okay, that's the funniest thing that I've ever read. And I'm pretty sure na-overwhelm siya. Natuwa siya. Pero hey, kapag umiiyak siya the whole time. Ay, you know what, Joe Tabs? Gagawa ko ng meme. Gagawa ko ng meme dyan, ha? Ika-credit kita. Gagawa namin ng umiyak si Joe Tabs. Tapos, yun ang nasa isip ni Mr. Torres mismo. Pinipicture na ko yung ano mo. Pero, that's funny. Yeah, it would be funnier if umiyak nga siya dahil sabi niya, may simpatya sa anong pinagagawa mo. Alright, Joe Tabs, thank you for making me laugh. And finally, Fan Art Factor wrote in, there have been comparisons sa Digin Nyo Kami scene sa Do You Hear the People Sing from Les Mis. And oo nga pala, Maria Clara had actually read Les Mis, 100%. So I think nakadagdag din yun sa push niya to stand up. Ewan ko bakit ngayon ko na realize. Yeah, 100%. But let's not forget na Do You Hear the People Sing is a song that came from the musical, diba? And the musical was written maybe, I don't know, somewhere around the 1900s, diba? Walang Do You Hear the People Sing sa libro. Wala, sorry. Sa libro ng, hey, kung tama ako, pero sa libro ng Les Miserables, wala doong part na mga tao na they decided to nagkantahan sila, diba? Wala yun sa libro. Pero still, Do You Hear the People Sing is the representation of what the book is trying to portray sa Les Miserables, on what the book is trying to tell about the people of France, on how the people of France are trying to fight this French kung hindi French Revolution, maybe it's some French, the French uprising, something like that. Pero, in some shape or form, yung Les Miserables mismo ay truly also affected Maria Clara as a person. And I feel like na, gaya ng sabi ng isa sa mga viewers natin, hindi tumayo si Maria Clara para maging supportive na GF, kundi tumayo siya at nakipagdinggin nyo kami din siya. Whatever Ibarra was saying connects with the book that she read a few weeks ago, diba? And yeah, so that's all of it, you guys. Wow, I've been talking for like an hour and 30 minutes. So I believe na baka itong episode na to is going to be a 2-hour episode. I was able to read all of the comments. Thank you for leaving those comments, you guys. Naubusan ang bosses. But now it's time, episode 71.